What's good, everybody? Hope y'all are doing well and staying safe. So after a lot of back and forth in the ticket for my alt account suspension, and if I can break my world record with a no macro and hand cam stream, it's like my 6th time trying to do this voiceover. I have some very interesting updates, including on if my macros are allowed and if I'm cleared on my world record run as being legit in the eyes of DE. To start off with, here is the approval of me using a 2-action macro like I used on my world record run, and DE giving me approval to break my world record with some additional set guidelines of reducing the chances of dealing with issues. But we're going to go ahead and go into detail more about those later on. I want to touch back on my world record run, my 95.5 hour run. If you notice on this ticket for my 2-month suspension and you correlate the dates actually don't add up at all to my world record run, nor my 35.5 hour run on my science channel that got no triggers. The only things that are there, and this is prevalent to the new guidelines, by the way, the only things that are there are from after my 2-week suspension ended for my world record run, and the other old ones in there are Sarin runs that I did that I had anywhere between 13 to 15,000 kills per hour, which likely went unnoticed until they did a deep dive on my account, as the amount of time that I played was within the normal duration, but the amount of kills that I was getting per hour was well outside of the bounds of my normal kills per hour that are seen on my account. I honestly have never even been able to replicate anything close to that again. There was only 2 runs that I was able to do with that, and I've never been able to hit the same KPH again. Now, touching back onto the updated guidelines that they gave me, if we look at the fact that they're making a very big emphasis on making sure I don't have any programs that could potentially do something, what they are saying is that they have no way to see if you are using the program or not. Because otherwise, back in my 21 and 27.5 hour run, the same staff member that I am dealing with now is the same staff member I dealt with then. They would have been able to see that I didn't use macros. But instead, because I had Logitech software and its macroing capabilities on there, it meant I drew scrutiny, which means anybody that has any of that software on there, I'm not talking just GHub, because every single major manufacturer of mice, keyboards have macros on them, and Logitech doesn't just sell mice and keyboards, they sell webcams, they sell headsets, mouse pads that all connect to the same GHub. All of these companies have all-in-one software, so when you have this all-in-one software and you draw into question your play, you automatically get viewed as a cheater regardless if you are or aren't. Because where they have me at right now is I have to do a fresh install of Windows. Otherwise, I don't know what is what. Because if they're willing to put a company that did $4.4 or $4.5 billion in sales last year, what that means is they're going to be willing to put anything that they want on. Logitech is a company that's been around since 1981. I've been using Logitech hardware for over 20 years now. So what this means is DE has laid landmines for every player in the game to potentially trigger suspensions upon themselves and draw scrutiny, because they deem these programs to be blacklisted, even though to blacklist Logitech software, Corsair, Razer, I mean, you name it on these softwares, is essentially telling people that they can't use the actual hardware. The hardware is designed to be ran with the software because the firmware on the hardware is not good typically. Has never been good. So what you're telling us to do is take our hard-earned money that we have spent on our hardware and not even use them to our full potential. We can't use our webcam to our full potential. We can't use our headsets to our full potential. And I don't find that reasonable to tell people in any sort of facet, because this explains why my 35.5 hour run didn't have any triggers. This explains why all my everyday play didn't have any triggers, even though I use macros and all of that, is because it wasn't outside of the bounds of my everyday play. And when it was out of the bounds of it, because I had X software, it automatically made me guilty no matter what. And the reason why this goes out of my every single day play is because usually I'll do a long run and then afterwards I'll just kind of casually do stuff a couple hours here and there, do a lot of in and out ones, and I won't do a lot of missions back to back to back to back to back like I was doing for after my world record run, because I had switched my direction on how I was playing the game to making build videos for 12-hour minimalistic builds and also 21.5-hour min-max builds, as well as trying to prep myself for another world record run. So my frequency of endurance runs really picked up drastically because of that compared to how I would usually play the game. And why, after 5 years of having the same staff member on my tickets, do you not actually even talk to me? You are the same CC from my very first suspension, and instead I have to talk to Zendesk every time. Why do you keep harassing me with suspensions and not lifting them when I can clearly see you have to have some idea of who I am? It's sad with how much proof I've been able to show over the years that this is still an issue when the person hasn't changed, even going back to no macro runs. Which makes me question, how good of anti-cheat software do you have? Because you would be able to clearly see that I wasn't using macros on that run and you would have cleared me. You would have been able to see what type of macros I use on my current runs and you would have cleared me, because I'm already being told that meshing two commands together is okay, which is what I was doing. And what is it going to take for you to talk to me? Do I need to get more subs? Is that it? I guess at least you're giving me the content to do that while my account's suspended. So thank you for that at the very least. And maybe one day we can actually come to an understanding that every long run isn't the result of someone cheating, or somebody going outside the bounds of their normal play isn't the result of someone cheating. It's the result of somebody caring about getting good on a game they enjoy. Your game. Your game. So now, like I was saying earlier, the question is, does this extend to every software that comes with every big name company that also has macros in it? Like, we already talked about the fact that the company's been around since 1981. They did $4.5 billion in sales in 2023 alone. This is the true glaring problem, and why answers are just all over the place, and why when I was given permission to break my world record, they kept emphasizing the point of not having the software even installed. And this is why it's happened to many other people. So I really hope everybody in my comment section, everybody that watches this, y'all share this out. Let people know. If you try and get good too fast on this game, because it explains profit taker, exploiter or Kuva, endurance, like it explains everything. If you get too good too fast and you have X software, which most people, if they're trying to get good at a game, they're going to buy good peripherals. They're going to buy a good keyboard. They're going to buy a good mic or a good mouse. They're not going to buy the best, but they're going to buy from a reputable company. And all of those reputable companies have macros built into their software. So this has become a landmine just waiting to happen for every player that wants to be good at a game they enjoy. So please, like I said, share this out to everybody. Get the word out. We need transparency, because from what it looks like is a company that's grossed $4.4 billion and created a software can now put your account in jeopardy. And all of the other countless software manufacturers that have macros built into their stuff that also make hardware. And I do hope you all take care. Stay safe, stay humble, be open, and as always, never stop searching. Peace, everybody.